Hello everybody, it's Niall Livesey here, and it's our 2018 Test Drive Year in Review. We're gonna get right to our likes and dislikes so that if you're coming along and you just hate listening to people talk and want to get right to the content in the title of the video, you don't have to wait. We're gonna tell you our top vehicles. There are no actual order. It's not like the first through the sixth or the worst. It's just an alphabetical order. So the 6 cars that we liked the absolute most this year here on Test Drive. The 2018 BMW M2 Black Shadow Edition, the 2018 Buick Enclave Avenir, the 2018 Cadillac CTS-V, the 2018 Chrysler Pacifica Limited, the 2018 Kia Stinger GT Limited, and the 2018 Volkswagen e-Golf. Now that list might be a surprise to some of you. I hope it sort of makes sense if you've been watching our show for a little while, and I'm going to explain those answers in a minute. The cars that we disliked the most, our worst cars of 2018, again in alphabetical order, starting with the 2018 Ford Explorer, followed by the 2018 Infiniti QX60, and the 2017 Nissan Qashqai, and finally the 2018 Volkswagen Passat. These are all vehicles that we drove this year on Test Drive. Even though the 2017 Nissan Qashqai we didn't end up doing a full episode on, we just used it as background imaging for something else we were doing. It was that bad of a car, so we'll talk about that. Now, even though I've got our 6 cars that I liked the most, the 4 that I disliked, if I could buy any car, or if I was given one of the cars that we drove this year, didn't have to worry about paying for it, it was just gifted to me. The one that I would pick, despite not actually being on that list, would have been the 2018 Cadillac CT6. So if you've been watching any of the news, you'll probably know that GM is shutting down a majority of their US and Canadian manufacturing plants. And a lot of the vehicles that we've actually driven this year are going to be axed. The Buick LaCrosse, Chevrolet Cruze, Cadillac CT6, the Cadillac ATS and CTS technically, but those were already scheduled for decommissioning anyway. Chevrolet Volt, and the Chevrolet Impala. All vehicles we filmed this year that are pretty much dead for the 2020 model years. 2019 will be the last. So if I could pick one, I would hopefully take the 2019 Cadillac CT6V that they're supposed to be coming out with a big bang of the last hurrah for that car. Now that we've gotten the hopefully not clickbait stuff out of the way and the people who've just come here just to see what we liked and disliked and don't give a crap about why, I hope you've enjoyed it. Now we're going to talk about some of the reasons why we've picked these 10 vehicles plus the one and go over a little bit of the statistics for Test Drive over the last 365 days. Now the BMW M2 was a fantastic car to drive, really gave you the purest form of what a BMW M car should be, especially if you like the older stuff. We really had a lot of fun driving that car. It's easily a car that we'd buy if we could. The Buick Enclave Avenir was also a top pick for us because it just surprised in so many ways. It was one of the first cars we drove this year, and I wasn't really expecting it to be that good, but it ended up becoming a great vehicle. We've seen a lot of them on the road since we filmed that episode, and it, again, would be one that we would certainly pick up if we needed one. Cadillac CTS-V, same reason why we liked it as the BMW M2. Pure performance, 640 horsepower with rear-wheel drive, was absolutely a blast to drive this year. Had tons of fun with it, loved showing it off, and the enthusiast community here in Quebec was also great too, so that was one of the reasons why we liked that. The Chrysler Pacifica might be a surprise to a lot of you. We're actually expecting there to be a renaissance when it comes to the minivan here in North America. I mean, the SUV and crossover has really dominated over the last little while, and there are certainly a lot of good vehicles in the market. But the rumor is the Pacifica is going to be going all-wheel drive, or at least have the option for it. If that really is true, it will become an excellent vehicle for people looking for a car-like experience with much more storage. We really like the Pacifica. 2018 Kia Stinger, again, another performance-oriented vehicle that really surprised us. The outside look of the car is top-notch, really competes with the Germans. Performance-wise, also excellent, especially for the price point. You almost can't beat it in anything else. We really enjoyed the Kia Stinger. Once again, a vehicle that surprised us this year. And again, another surprise, the Volkswagen e-Golf, and it'll be another little discussion at the end when we talk about the Passat, but the e-Golf was one of the vehicles that we were really anticipating. We had high expectations for it, and it met those expectations. It's not a luxurious car, it's not necessarily a sporty car or a quick car, or an enjoyable car from that traditional enthusiast perspective, but it did what it promised, had excellent electric range, and it came pretty well equipped too. So one of the reasons why we like that car, and again, a reason if we were in the market for a full electric car, we'd probably be considering the e-Golf. Now it comes to the worst stuff, and again, worst is a really rough way of putting it. These are the vehicles that we just maybe disliked the most when it came to this year. The Ford Explorer, I don't understand why it exists. It doesn't do anything really well. The exterior design is all right. The interior though is not very good at all. Very plastic, very dated. Don't like the look and design of it. We had issues with the interior space as well, especially the footwell for the driver was very tight. It's a car that I really wasn't excited to drive, and I was very happy to give the keys back. The Infiniti QX60 was technically a vehicle we had in 2017, but we weren't able to put the video out until 2018 and we re-drove it at that point. It's very dated. We are expecting a model update for 2020. I'd be surprised if Nissan Infiniti is able to bring it out for 2019, but the QX50, the smaller compact vehicle in the segment, came out this year, and it really looks like a good car. So if they can take that same design and engineering and everything that they've put into that vehicle and carry it over to the QX60, we'll expect it to be a much more enjoyable vehicle for us. We do know that a lot of them get sold. People do like them. It just wasn't for us. The 2017 Nissan Qashqai, again, we didn't actually feature it on the show because there was no point in us even doing a video on it since it was the previous model year and they did make changes for 2018. Nissan seems to have a lot of crossovers. And if you think about all the vehicles that they've sold even within the last couple of years, you've now got the Kicks, you had the Juke, you've got the Qashqai, the Rogue, the Murano, the Pathfinder, and the Armada. There's a lot of vehicles in their crossover segment. Plus, you can go up to the Infiniti stuff, and they've got a whole bunch of vehicles there too. So the Qashqai just felt like a vehicle that wasn't really inspired, and we didn't enjoy driving it. And finally, the 2018 Passat. It's disappointing that the European version of the car is fantastic, and they cheapen it out really to an extreme for the North American market. We found that by them taking out features that were on the previous model year but still selling it for the same price is a bit of a pain in the butt. If you're looking to buy the 2018, you wanted things like HomeLink, you're out of luck. Also, no heated steering wheel on a vehicle that's in the mid-size segment without heated steering wheel. I mean, that's pretty bad. So we hope to see a 2020 model year, but the rumors are that the new version for North America is still the same. So that wraps up the likes and dislikes. I want to talk a little bit about how this year went for us. First of all, I want to thank everybody who subscribed, watched our show. If you're watching this now, you're probably one of a very, very small number of people who've actually sat and watched it, because any of the stuff that we do that isn't necessarily specific car related really doesn't do that well here. So if you're one of probably the dozens of people who are watching this, thank you very much. We drove 65 different cars this year. That's a lot. Last year we did about 32, so I've done more than double this year. We also had the chance to drive 5 classic cars, including the 1997 Mercedes-Benz S600, which was a vehicle on the top of our list for quite a while. We also got to drive the E31 BMW 850i, the 2003 Mercedes-Benz S55 AMG, and then recently we did the 1986 Hyundai Pony and the 2003 Mercedes-Benz CLK 55 AMG. So a lot of Mercedes products this year. We also had the one BMW. We do want to do more classic stuff, and I will admit that I am a little disappointed with the last 2 videos that we did in the classic stuff. It just didn't really do that well as we were expecting. So I hope for the new year, for 2019, we can do more. It's just a little difficult to do it. So thanks if you've watched it. If you're into that stuff, we do hope to do more of it. Now I want to talk just a little bit about the analytics here. I think it's interesting to go over what was really popular on TestDrive over the last year. Now this information is from January 1st to December 18th, 2018. We're filming this 2 days after the 18th, and you're seeing it about a week after that, especially if you're watching this new. So, there's a few days, about a week and a half, that we're missing out on, but for the most part, this is a pretty accurate idea of what was popular in 2018 for us. The top 5 videos overall, doesn't matter what we published, the top 5 in order of the most popular was the BMW X3 versus Mazda CX-5 showdown. We actually did that vehicle last year, 2017. It's still the most popular episode we did this year. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. The 2018 Cadillac Escalade was also a very popular video for us. We published that just at the beginning of 2018. So very popular car, still popular even today. I look at the analytics and every month it's top 5 for sure. Number 3 was the Honda Accord versus Acura TLX. It wasn't a showdown necessarily to show which was better, but it was to show what the differences were between it. That was a very interesting episode for us, one that I actually had hoped to do for quite some time. The 2018 Mazda CX-9 GT, not the Signature, but the GT we filmed again in 2017, was one of the most popular videos this year. And it's interesting because we actually redid the video a couple months later with the top trim, and it just wasn't as popular. So CX-9 GT, 4th most popular video of the year. And finally, rounding out at number 5 was the BMW 750 Li versus Cadillac CT6. Now you can see here there's a big trend. The showdown episodes are the most popular, and if I were to go through the top 15 episodes that we produced this year, I'd say 10 of them would be episodes of Test Drive Showdown, or very close. It's about half of what we do. The most popular are the showdowns, and that's why we've tried to do more of them this year. We've had some of them lined up that didn't end up working. We are hoping in the new year to do the Mazda CX-9 versus Subaru Ascent. That was supposed to have come out 2 weeks ago, but we did not get the vehicle in time. We've done episodes of Test Drive Showdown this year that have just done terrible. We did the Volkswagen e-Golf versus Kia Soul EV. We figured since both are roughly the same price, have roughly the same range, and cater to kind of quirky buyers, they'd both be interesting to watch as a comparison. Didn't be the case. Even the most recent episode of Test Drive Showdown, as we're filming this, the 3 Series versus 4 Series, really hasn't done that well. So it's hit or miss. You know, we can't just expect to do any episode of Test Drive Showdown and it to be a gold mine, but we do try our best to do more of the showdown and comparison episodes. Now I'm going to tell you the top 10 cars or vehicles that we featured this year. Not showdown episodes, these are individual spotlight episodes that we've produced. And again, they could be from 2017 or even earlier. But these are the most searched, most watched episodes of Test Drive on a single vehicle this year. Coming in first place, again, no surprise since it was in the top 5 overall, was the Cadillac Escalade, followed by the Mazda CX-9 GT. Those were the 2 on the top 5 overall. Now the third one, not really a surprise if you've been watching our show for a while, was the 1997 Mercedes S600. That was a very popular video. In fact, it was one of the first videos that we did that just exploded as soon as we uploaded it. So I mean, if every video was like that, I'd be happy about that. Followed by the 2018 Mazda 6 Signature. That helped because we got the car pretty much before anybody else did, and that certainly helped. And there's still a lot of interest in that because it is a very exciting vehicle, especially if you're into a sedan. Next was the 2019 Subaru Forester. We only published that video about 3 weeks ago and it's already on our top list. Again, timing was crucial for that episode. I was planning on publishing it around the time that you're watching this. But when I see the trends, what's going on YouTube, we can make decisions very last minute. So we were able to push it up ahead of schedule and get that done. So a lot of things fell into place to make that work, and I'm certainly happy about it. The second classic car on our list was the 1991 BMW 850i. I'm actually surprised. We were hoping that video would have done a little bit better. It took a while. It's been a slow burn for it to kind of get to the point where it is right now. But it is an exciting car to be able to feature. It hasn't grown any really. I mean, you know, regular car reviews did an E31 about 2-3 weeks ago. We were expecting maybe we'd see some trickle from that, but not really. So it's been popular, but not quite as much as we hoped. The Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG is still a top video this year, even though we published it last year, followed by the Ford Explorer. Again, it was the vehicle that ended up becoming on our dislike list. And if you look at how our videos did, the cars that I like the most, none of them actually made it onto that list of the top 10, except the one that I disliked, the Ford Explorer. The 9th on our list was the 1988 Mercedes-Benz 560 SEL. Again, a video that we produced in 2017, just before we moved out to Quebec. And it was a little bit more production value for that. It took us a lot longer to film that episode, and it was a remake. We did it earlier, I think in 2016, and felt that we could do better. So that was another very popular video still today on the Mercedes 560 SEL. And finally, the 10th most popular episode was the 2001 BMW 540i M Sport. Again, another video that we produced last year. I'm very happy that these are still popular cars. I mean, obviously there's a reason for it. People want to buy them. They want to know more about them. And that's one of the reasons why we still do the classic car stuff. I love doing it, but it's important because if you are looking to buy them down the road, there's usually not a lot of videos out there on it. So I'm very happy that those are still on there. Now, as we wrap up, I just want to mention a few very quick statistics about the show. This year, again, from the 1st of January 2018 until the 18th of December 2018, we had 3.6 million views. It's probably pretty small for a lot of channels. In fact, there's automotive channels out there that do that in a week, I'm sure. But we're very proud of that number. I think it's a good growth for us, especially if you compare it to last year. We had much less than that. We also had 15.3 million minutes of video watched. Now, we're hoping that as we do longer episodes of Test Drive, the interest will still be there. So far, we haven't heard any complaints about our longer format, so I'm hoping to continue doing that into 2019. We gained 9,500 subscribers. Now, with any channel, you're going to gain a whole bunch and lose some too. So we actually gained a lot more than that, but we also lost some at the same time. So if you're one of those 9,500 who've joined us this year, welcome. And if you're here from before, obviously, we still absolutely appreciate your support in this show. And finally, we had 5,500 comments this year. It's a little low. I'd like to see more. We want to get the community engaged. You know, I always do try to reply to every comment I can and get the conversation going and have a discussion with people. So we'd like to see that number grow. Obviously, we want to get the subscribers up. We're hoping to get to 20,000 by the same time frame that we hit 10,000 last year. But we'd like the subscribers to grow, we'd like the show to grow, we'd like the community to grow. We want more comments because it's not just me producing a video in front of a camera like I am right now. 300 people watch it, I'm gonna feel pretty sad that I'm really just talking to a camera. But that's why we want people to be talking, communicating, sending messages, posting your comments, following us on social media, and getting the conversation going. Because then it's more of a community than it is just me talking to a camera. So get those comments going. Make sure that if you have an opinion, you have something to say, make it so in 2019. We want to hear from you and we want to get the conversation going. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This year has been fantastic. I'm so happy to be able to do this every single week. I know sometimes that it can get very stressful trying to get all the cars lined up, trying to get everything produced, get everything going. It does take a lot, but I absolutely love doing this. It's so much fun to be able to try new things, open your mind to something that you might not have been even into before. We talked about that a lot this year. So thank you so much for watching this video, for subscribing to the channel, sharing these things on social media and getting the word out there. I'm really hoping 2019 is the year for Test Drive, and it all comes from you. So from everybody here at Perpetual Radio Networks, which is just me, happy holidays, happy new year, and we'll see you in 2019.